Within quote-unquote UFO culture, there are two very prominent camps when it comes to assessing whether or not UFO intelligence is a threat. On one extreme, there is the assessment that UFO intelligence comprises of nothing but our space brothers, and there are no risks. There is no even theoretical potential that UFOs could present any problems whatsoever to humanity. It's all roses, it's all sunshine, and any concern over extremely advanced machines that could be tens of thousands of years ahead of us is utter bullocks. And then there are those on the other extreme who believe that the UFO intelligence is wreaking havoc on our planet or will do so in the near future. Whether that's from creating hybrids of crosses between human and alien DNA to infiltrate our civilization and take it over, or just wreaking havoc in terms of creating strife within human civilization so that the UFO intelligence can harness all the negative energy that is elicited from creating that strife. My personal opinion is that both of these extremes are simply not representing reality when it comes to UFOs, and that the truth is actually somewhere in between both of these extremes. The first camp that I'm going to challenge are those committed to the position that UFO intelligence presents absolutely no potential threat whatsoever, in that it is a slam dunk to assess that UFO intelligence is only here for our benefit or for neutral purposes and presents no problems whatsoever for humanity. I don't think the literature that has been recorded over 70 plus years regarding UFO reality gives weight to that position. For starters, there have been deaths and there have been injuries as a result of the presence of UFO intelligence. Let's start with Frederick Valentish, 1978, Australia. He was flying a Cessna. His plane was regularly serviced. Visibility was good. In the midst of that flight, he encounters what he described as a metallic object with a green light. He said it was doing speeds that he could not even recognize, that it was like playing games with him. It would be right above his plane and then it would disappear. And then it would be right above his plane again. This was all recorded, by the way. There's a transcript of the conversation that Frederick Valentish had with the control tower. Ultimately, through this encounter, the radio went dead. His plane disappeared. He disappeared. His plane and him were never recovered after the incident. So here is an explicit incident where a human being has died as a result of what could have been a legitimate UFO, as we apply that term. Perhaps whatever he encountered that day does not originate from human civilization and it ended in him dying. So this would be in direct conflict with the idea that UFO intelligence poses absolutely no problems for human civilization. Another incident that challenges the assessment that UFOs just do not pose any threat to humanity whatsoever is the Colares flap in 1977 on the island of Colares, Brazil. There was an outbreak of UFO sightings accompanied with beams coming from those UFOs, radiation beams giving people radiation burns and puncture wounds. A lot of people were injured from this encounter. This obviously was not favorable to the population on Colares Island. People suffered as a result of this intelligence that, again, we would put under the umbrella of UFO, which could be, in this incident, as with others, machines that are controlled by another intelligence that do not derive from human civilization. Beyond these examples, we have a phenomena where people claim they were snatched from non-human intelligence. Now, whether they were snatched and actually placed on, UFOs and examine within the confines of saucer machines or whatever shape kind of machines originating from another intelligence, or it's simply that their consciousness was manipulated utilizing psychotronic weapons, giving them the perception that they were taken onto machines and examined. Nevertheless, I'm convinced that this is happening, and it is not happening from human beings. I don't think John Mack was studying what the U.S. military is doing to citizens all over the planet. I'm sorry. I think this is a very real phenomena. It's a troubling phenomena. I think if humanity was to take a vote on whether they would want this phenomena to exist on our planet or not, the vast majority would vote no. And so this is a perfect example of an outcome that results in the presence of another intelligence that is unfavorable to humanity and therefore presents a problem. It's not all sunshine and roses. Now, you could argue that these snatchings are ultimately serving the benefit of humanity, and that's possible. But then again, that's just speculation, and we really don't know why this phenomenon is occurring and has been occurring at perhaps alarming rates. With all of the negatives that come with the presence of UFO intelligence, there is an extraordinary positive. And this positive, frankly, challenges the community that is committed to the assessment that it's all doom and gloom, that not only are we not alone, but we're being engaged by UFO intelligence. And that is that we are being engaged. You take away the UFO, you take away the alleged crashes, you take away the alleged pieces and materials that fall off these machines for whatever reason, make that completely evaporate, and now you are not exposed to technology that could potentially revolutionize our civilization and incredibly raise the quality of life on our planet. You have to have this presence in order to be cognizant of the technology they use, be inspired by the technology they use, study the technology they use, and ultimately duplicate the technology they use. And that potentiality, maybe even inevitability, could lead to the saving of our very biosphere, preventing our planet, humanity, animals, plants, trees from extinction. So it is a mixed bag. It's not all doom and gloom, and it's not all sunshine and roses. It's nuanced. And that is what I would promote my audience and others studying this phenomena to adopt when they assess it. It's not either or, it's not black or white, it's complex. And as far as the snatching phenomena, where people are, without solicitation, they are taken, they are manipulated, they are controlled. I don't know how common it is. I don't know how rare it is. We need more data. But it could be, frankly, similar to situations that happen with something we're very familiar with, which is the animal kingdom. Every year, a certain amount of surfers and swimmers get bitten by sharks. Every year, a certain amount of people get mauled by buffalo or get bitten by mountain lions. Now, that may not even happen every year, but it has happened. Or get attacked by bears, or get stung to death by bees, right? We live in a universe that is unpredictable and complex. And this UFO intelligence, frankly, is just another layer of that. It's a subtle layer. And it is a layer that encompasses an intelligence far beyond ours. Now, at this point, someone may bring up, well, you can't really compare our run-ins with nature when it comes to bears and mountain lions and sharks with children and adults getting snatched by non-human intelligence or getting coerced by non-human intelligence, because the literature states that certain bloodlines get snatched repeatedly, and that it is a very planned out behavior that happens with repetition by the non-human intelligence. And that's a fair counter to what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, it's ultimately all just nature. I don't care how advanced UAP are. I don't care how advanced the intelligence behind them are. It's nature. In the same way that tornadoes are nature. In the same way that hurricanes are nature. In the same way that great whites are nature. And if there is a higher power that has spawned all of reality, then how much of a difference really is there at the end of the day between non-human intelligence, between us, between nature? It's all one. And maybe we are coming to a point in time where we're just going to have to accept that reality wasn't what we assumed it was. And that no matter how many times world institutions try to tell us that they're the mature representatives and they know what's best, they're wrong. We are going to enter a post-disclosure world. I'm putting that out there. And if I'm wrong, I expect skeptics to throw that in my face. And I'll stand corrected with honor. And if I'm right, well, who cares if I'm right? I got 7 words for you. The house of cards will fall, baby. Special thanks to all my patrons and YouTube members. If you'd like to support the channel in that way, you can click one of the links below. And you could even buy a t-shirt, or you could just slap a like on this bad boy, and I'll appreciate it so much. See you soon.